All right. For today, we're going to start out with Rockstar Rob B. Is this a truth,
What you
lie, or
got, Rob?
shenanigans?
This is a very sad truth, very sad state of affairs. There's been the hurricane season off the Atlantic has been particularly active this year in 2020. And currently in Nicaragua, Honduras, Guatemala, we're going to see a large humanitarian crisis. So last week on the 16th, Hurricane Iota, which was a Category 5 hurricane, slammed into the coast. And if anybody remembers, Hurricane Eta on November 3rd, just 2 weeks prior, had made landfall. So that was a Category 4. What we're seeing in the video is just some of the devastation in the regions. Now, a lot of the relief organizations and the relief work that are being done are being handled by the Red Cross. And this is no different. The Red Cross is taking an active role in trying to help people as much as possible during this. Um, at this point, dozens have perished throughout this weather event. The storm has unleashed mudslides, it's damaged infrastructure, and it's left tens of thousands homeless across Central America. And like I said, this is just revisiting it just after 2 weeks with Hurricane Eta. So the rain hasn't let up, the water hasn't let up. And because this has been such an active hurricane season, we're looking at hundreds of thousands of people who have been displaced. We're talking from Tabasco, Mexico, all the way through Panama just this month. Now, the secondary danger because of all of this,
I'm
these
looking at.
people are being.
I'm just want to jump in. So I'm looking at all these. I'm looking at these images in this video, and this is crazy. I mean, all of the water just in the streets and everywhere. This
And
is
that's it.
crazy.
It's weeks of rain and just these incredibly powerful storms that are moving in. And as you can see, the relief efforts are nonstop. They're trying to get people out into aid centers as quickly as possible. But because there are so many people being displaced, the conditions in the relief centers are absolutely deplorable. There's no proper way to socially distance. There are no masks. There's not enough soap to go around for proper sanitization and just basic hygiene. So the secondary hit is going to be the COVID pandemic, and they're already seeing positive tests for some of the people that are in need of aid, and with some of the relief workers. So this is going to turn into a portable humanitarian crisis. And like I was mentioning earlier, the Red Cross is very involved. If you've got a little bit that you can share, if you have a little bit that you can pay forward, I know that times are tough for everyone during the COVID pandemic. We're all suffering in our own unique way, but these people are in desperate need of help at this time. And yeah, Liz, Neo, please, some reaction, some discussion around this.
I think it really broadens the scope of the coronavirus pandemic because we only think about it in this small bubble, if you will, of okay, it's corona and that's it. It's the immediate virus and the complications surrounding that. And we don't really think about the after effects or the side effects of that or how it could reach beyond that. But here's a situation where people are already dealing with a pandemic, if you will. They're dealing with a natural disaster, if you will, one that we are familiar with here in this country. And so imagine going through that devastation because we've had horrible hurricanes in this country over the years. But imagine going through that, just trying to save yourself from that, but then have to think about, okay, I have to socially distance properly while I try to save myself from the floods, while I try to get food, while I try to figure out where my family is. And these are people that, may not, or governments that may not have had the equipment to even deal with the pandemic without a hurricane. And so you're thinking, okay, if I'm trying to survive the rising floods, all of this disease and possible, displacement that comes from that, am I really thinking about wearing a mask? Are there masks
Mhm.
available to me? And so this is something again that we haven't really considered, like how far reaching this virus is beyond the initial, okay, you got it, go quarantine for 14 days. And this is why I get so annoyed with people, Republicans, who don't take it seriously, because it's not just the immediate. It's not just, Donald Trump or Ben Carson or Donald Trump Jr. saying, okay, I got it, but I'm a superhero. I'm asymptomatic. It doesn't really affect me. I'm going to recover. And in most cases, it's a hoax anyway. No, it's not. It's very real. And you are now starting to see the people who aren't of the 1%, the people who don't have or who aren't a part of the upper class, how it is affecting them as they try to deal with regular real life situations. It's horrible. It's horrible. Horrible. Nia?
Yeah. So for me, and actually, Kevin Daxton said something really important. For me,
Yeah.
it seems like the first thing I think is environmental. And so Kevin Daxton said when hurricanes get Greek letter designation, something is clearly wrong with the environment. And so my first thoughts were, man, this is like what we're seeing as the effects of how we're treating the environment. And Lizzie was talking about how we're talking about COVID, and I get the COVID issue, but man, we need to really think about our, you know, global warming. I mean, clearly this is a cause, a part of what's happening with global warming. The sheer number of hurricanes this year is incredible. Like he said, I mean, if you're going into the Greek, and we're not just getting into the Greek letter designations, we're on Iota. It started with Alpha. So, we are. This is crazy. And yes, the humanitarian issues, as far as COVID, are absolutely ridiculous. I mean, we are in a time where people are just dying all across the world, and I mean, they're not going to be able to receive the treatments that people like Trump are able to get. And so we're going to be looking at a huge devastation here. Huge devastation.
Absolutely,
Or even
because ETA wiped out the initial, just with ETA, that wiped out a lot of the infrastructure to begin with. So what little infrastructure they had left was then decimated by a Category 5 right on the tail end of it. So, where do you go to get intubated? Where do you go for help? And further to your global warming, I found some really scary stats, because that's a big part of the reason, because the sea surface temperatures has remained very warm in the Western Atlantic and over the Caribbean region, with around 30 degrees Celsius across the entire western portions of the Caribbean Sea. So it's about 86 degrees Fahrenheit. And with the rising waters
Wow.
and with that temperature, we're getting a lot more torrential downpour when these storms do manifest themselves. So there's stronger storms and there's more surface moisture to pull on land, which results in this incredible flooding.
listen, my goddaughter in Finland, she sent me Paulina Moi Puka. She sent me a picture from 2 days ago where Finland got its first full snow of the fall winter 2020 season,
Mhm.
which in November, almost December, is pretty late. But it's snowing in Finland, and I think I teased you about this a few weeks ago, Rob B.
In
It's
Canada.
snowing in Finland. It snowed in Canada. My AC, my air
He
conditioner
says
is still
Finland and Canada, though.
Washington. But listen,
Uh,
when we grew up, it was not these warm temperatures in DC. Not like this. We did not have AC blasted. It was 81 degrees in my apartment when I woke up yesterday. 81 degrees. That tells you something is happening
No question.
with the climate, with global warming in this world,
mhm.
in this atmosphere, and we don't want to pay attention to it. And
Well,
because of it,
we do.
my electricity, my Pepco bill is through the roof, through the roof, through the roof. And it did not snow in DC last year. We had no snow for the
Yeah, it was
winter.
like minimal, like I think less an inch or two, right? I think it was,
That I
Mhm.
would say they lost. It was like a dusting for the
yeah,
whole winter.
for the
It was
whole winter.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ridiculous.
people are going to start paying attention when they're directly impacted. So the main exports from these regions are cocoa, coffee, rice, and flowers. So when you can't get your Starbucks, when you can't get your Dunkin' at the price that you are accustomed to getting it at, when you can't buy, when your staple foods like rice, when you can't get pretty flowers, we really need to take a look at the industries that we're doing, the type of farming that people have to do in dangerous areas to feed someone's fix.
All right, Gianni, let's get to some of the comments online. What are we seeing?
Okay, sure. So Mike Winter says, Alf took some of that FEMA money, by the way. So we don't have
Mm.
enough money for American hurricane relief, despite warnings from NOAA.
From Noah. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and of course, this isn't happening. Iota really didn't hit hard in the U.S., but yeah, that's crazy.
Kevin Thaxton said, when hurricanes get Greek letter designation, something may be wrong with the environment,
Yeah.
like you mentioned earlier. Yeah. Also, Jose said, our self-isolation is really not that bad compared to what these poor souls are living. And I agree with that completely.
Yeah. No question.
Right. No
I
question.
like Kevin Thaxton's other comment where he said, "Wait, so no cocaine, Robbie?
I got cocaine. Oh,
No farming cocaine anymore." Okay.
no chocolate bars.
I also wanted to mention Rebecca said, so sad about the polar bears. We are to take care and take control of our planet and all the creations inside of it. That's true.
Yeah.
Our responsibility.
Yeah. Polar bears everywhere. All right. Thank you, Gianni, for the comments. Thanks for the comments online, everyone.
Thank you, Robbie.
All right. Thanks, Robbie, for that. Oh, and don't forget, make sure you do think about contributing to donating to the Red Cross for Honduras Relief. It's www.redcross.org or text Red Cross to 90999 for a $10 contribution. So please do that if you can. All right, next hot topic.